Hello, this is Stories and Spoilers, the podcast. It's a very special episode. Happy Pride. We read LGBTQIA plus books year round, but this is a special month, okay? It's summertime. We're feeling ourselves. The world is burning, but we make the most of it. So let's discuss all things LGBTQ plus IA recommendations with my friend Jay from Black Boys Read. We're also going to do a little Q&A. So we're going to share our 5 books that are queer that we wanted to recommend. We're also going to be answering some questions from everyone on Instagram. So without further ado, the amazing Jay. Tell them more about yourselves. He's returning.
Yes, returning. I'm excited to be here. So yes, Jay, from Black_Boys Read on Instagram. I am a I guess you could say book influencer. I officially got to the point where publishers are sending me things, and I have too many books and not enough time to read. But in my community, I am a book club lead. I lead a book club called Beyond the Margins, where we read only BIPOC. And now, since we are kind of restructuring our book clubs, I am now taking over our LGBTQ part of our book club hosting. So we'll be reading LGBTQIA plus authors in my book club, and I love to read all things YA, all things mystery, all things thrillers, all things literary fiction, romance, name it, your boy probably reading it. And I'm just happy to be here with you all, talk about some of my favorite things, but then also answer some of these hard-hitting questions that you all submitted.
Thank you so much, Jay. That was a wonderful introduction. You also have my co-host here, Sir Nai. He is here to give all the great vibes. He is our ally, and he is my girlfriend Nai's son. Okay, for every gay couple, there is a fur baby in the wind. So, yes, if you've ever read a book that has like a pet sidekick, or like a Sabrina the Teen Witch, like black cat,
Yes.
yeah, this is Nai. This is my supportive, amazing cat. Someone also commented they thought he was not real. This is not a CGI cat. This is a real cat. It's the way he flicked you at hello. So, for people who are not looking at visuals, this is a very real cat. I do not have a fake cat in the corner. Okay. He's real. All right. He's my little Black Panther. So we're here for it. Okay. So, first things first, we're going to do opening questions. All these questions came from Instagram, and we're so grateful for the Bookstagram community for sharing these. So, first question I'm going to bring up for both of us is, what are your bookish pet peeves? This comes from Books, Beaches, and Brews. So, thank you. Yeah. So, what are your little bookish pet peeves?
Ooh, so it's ooh, yeah. I'm definitely one of those people that hate when people DNF a book and then go on Goodreads and rate it. That is a big pet peeve of mine. Because how can you rate something you didn't finish? If I DNF a book, I literally will just put a comment that says DNF and move on. I don't try to rate them. Even though
Mm,
like Goodreads is really weird about if you make a comment about a book and you didn't rate it or you didn't say something about it, like it gets real finicky there.
mm.
So that's why I'm using Storygraph more these days because you can DNF a book and you ain't got to worry about that. You can leave a little explanation as to why. But yes, I'm very much so a hater of the folks that DNF books and rate them on Goodreads.
Okay. I agree. If I DNF a book on Goodreads, I actually have a tab on Goodreads for like DNF. I made a little tab. So all the
Yeah,
books I didn't finish are in a shelf. That way I know, note to self, I didn't enjoy it. And now I have it notated, I did not enjoy it. Therefore, I cannot return back to that book because I have a
yeah.
really bad memory. So I will return to a book thinking, oh, this looks familiar. I'll start reading it and be like, oh, I remember you. So it just, I have a tag for that for books I am not a big fan of. And I guess my bookish pet peeve, I think it has to be people who bend their books. Like they bend the spines. Like I don't know who you are, but anyone who bends, like purposefully breaks the spine of a soft cover or a hardcover on purpose, and their book looks like it's been through war. Like the pages are like dirty, but not from time. Like their book is like parts of it are ripped. I can't stand when I go into a bookstore and I see books that are like torn or on the floor. I'm like, just put it back. Why don't you just put it back? Like I that also goes for clothing stores. I can't stand people take things off the hanger, they drop it and they don't put it back.
Right.
It
So
doesn't
I'm
have to
gonna
be
be the
perfect, girl.
drama. I'm gonna be the drama. I definitely break my spine sometimes.
Oh, me. The calls coming from inside the house. Oh,
Because I definitely
there's no
be.
judgment.
It's just something about being able to kind of get in there because I also annotate. So
Okay, I
I,
get
I
that.
need I need to get in.
I mean, you know, there's a cup of tea for everybody, y'all. Listen, it may not be for me, but someone else may love it. Like personally, I don't mind dog earing a book if I don't have any tabs or like sticky notes nearby. Because
Yeah,
I'll annotate it when I get back to it. But I think also people who bash book tropes, specifically sexy book tropes or kink shame, like, oh, that's gross, or I would never read that. Anyone who reads that is A, B, and C. That is a bookish pet peeve I don't like. I don't like anyone who shames others for things they enjoy.
yeah,
We're all adults, I assume, and we're all consenting to what we're reading. We're enjoying it for a reason. I just don't like it if anyone goes on social media and they're like, hey, this trope is toxic and horrible. And if you like it, A, B, and C. I'm like, well,
my newest one that I have is I feel like there's always new drama on
yeah,
Bookstagram, Books Threads, Book,
yeah,
and it's like go touch some grass. Like, I need us to touch grass. I need us to go smoke grass if you partake in smoking the grass. But like, I need us to do something besides there's always like a new level of drama.
I
And I'm
agree.
like, I just want us to read. Like, just read the books. Just read the books. Like, it's always something that's my book pet peeve. It's just like it's always drama when I open up this app, and I'm just like, why? Why?
I I think I feel weird saying this, but like I don't know most of the drama. I think it's just because I'm very much on this side of like the book podcast world. And
Yeah.
even though it's a very small corner of the world, like I feel very grateful that like I don't really feel it. Maybe it happens around me and I just don't see it. But personally, unless someone pulls me to the side and they're like, "Hey, we don't read this author anymore," and I'm like, "Why not?" There are just certain things that like I wouldn't know unless someone told me. Like
Yeah.
I'm too in my books to know next chapter. You know,
Yeah.
so yeah.
I'd be in the know, and I'm tired of being in the know.
I'm not. I guess I'm just. This feels just like high school. I'm actually not in the know. The drama will be happening. I'll find out. I will find out about it like a year later. Like I'm, I'm a girl is in the cloud. I'm like SZA. I got my little butterfly wings on. She was a fairy. I'm floating in a different world. Like you, I'm not even there. You know, I got a picture. I was present, but I didn't know what was going on.
You know
She
it.
was a fairy. You know,
Yeah.
that's literally me. I was there, but I had no idea what was going on. You
You
know,
know? Yeah,
stay moisturized and mind your business.
exactly.
Wash your face and mind your business. So for me, I stay moisturized. My curls are on point. I'm gonna mind my business and be respectful, and that's okay. That's okay. I'm minding my business unless it's rude. Mind my business. So that's one. Bookmates podcast. Those girls are super sweet. Had a question, and this is from Tiffany from their group. It's two girls. And they asked, how do you feel about ambiguous or vague endings? Certain expectations, but I get so frustrated when this happens. Like, I've been following these characters and have invested in them. I shouldn't close a book with unanswered questions and then have no resolution. It makes me feel cheated. What are your thoughts about that? About like vague endings?
Oh, so yes, I have real beef because like I get invested. I get invested, and if it's not a series, um, then it's like what happened next? Oh, one of my books that I'm going to recommend actually did that. Like, and I enjoyed the book, but like the ending was like, and we march on, and I'm like, but but what happened?
Where are we margin? Where are we
I know where
going?
we're going. I know where we're going. But also too, while I don't like it, I also understand. And I think
Mm-hmm.
authors do it purposely, as like a way to say maybe, and maybe I could be interpreting this wrong, but like they don't intend to maybe create series out of something or revisit something. So maybe by saying I'm gonna leave this open-ended or not like fully close it,
Mm-hmm.
that maybe they're leaving room for maybe revisiting the story at a later date.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
so like I have beef with it, but if done, and so my thing is always while I have beef with something, if done well, I'm not upset about it. So I will say the book that I'm going to recommend later that did this, which is Rebel's Guides to Pride, Matthew did a good job with it. So it wasn't like I felt cheated or anything. It was just like I want more. Like
Mm,
I want to know if like the lady that was running for mayor, did she win? Like that's the things that I kind of wanted to know, but it wasn't like the central part of the story. So it was okay. Like it was done well. Like yes, it ended at this rally, but it was done well. My biggest
mm.
win is not done well. And I'm like, but I need more.
Okay, okay. I hear you. I'm okay with a ambiguous ending, but only for a certain genre. Like I'm okay with an ambiguous ending for like a thriller. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
yeah.
something about like the monster or like the killer, like you thought they were dead or you thought that person was gone, and then like I saw a shadow in the corner, and it's like, you know what I mean? Like
Geneva,
it's some
like Geneva
Geneva
Rose.
Rose.
Yeah, she did a good Perfect Marriage.
Yeah,
Perfect Marriage is a great example of that. That I
yeah,
was okay with that, knowing what I know now because Perfect Divorce came, but like knowing what I know, I was like, oh, I would have been upset if it was like any other way. But like
yeah.
she did a good job
With
with
that,
yeah
I think with Geneva Rose, it's very hard for me to talk about her books because even though I it's stories and spoilers, I am here for a spoiler, of course.
yeah.
But I've noticed she has a pattern. And for anyone who's read a lot of her books can see she tends to have a certain trope she leans on.
Hmm.
Don't get me wrong. I love what she does. She
Yeah.
has a way of the villains, I use that word very loosely, but like the characters who are violent or do violent or bad things aren't bad people. You know
People.
what I mean? And I
Yeah.
like that. It's not so black and white where like it's the villain monologue and like all along I hated you. No, like there's reasons. And I like that. But yes, I'm okay with a vague ending as long as the story was built well and the characters can stand on their own. So when the ending does occur, I have an understanding of like why this person did
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
I don't really need it spelled out for me. Like with a thriller, like by the end, I should know why they did what they did. I think the issue would become if the ending now messes up the entire like so the murderer wasn't really the murderer, or like the killer like it wasn't clear. Like, nah, I needed to be clear, So that's my only thing. If the killer is not clear or the ending kind of like pulls apart the whole story and then there's nothing else, that'd be a problem. But if the story is well written, I'm okay with the vague ending, but only for thrillers. Only for thrillers, you know.
Thrillers.
Yeah, like Lucy Folly, The Guest List. That for me is the benchmark of what a thriller should be. Like I should be in an isolated place. There should be a body and like I want knives out. Like I want to like I want moving parts. I want layers. I want like I need to feel like it could be anyone. So when the ending finally happens and I find out who it is, bam, I wanna be mind blown. I want something big. Beyonce. I want something big. So that is the energy. Like I want a thriller that gives the energy of like, oh, she planned this. He planned this. Somebody planned this. And I'm here for it. Especially if there's two killers. If there's two killers and we thought it was one the whole time, I love it. I love it. So yes, that is the vibe. Next question is board certified book addict, which you said you know this person, and
Friend.
yes, I'm like thank you so much for answering like asking these questions. Also, thank you for everyone for sending these questions. We really appreciate it. I asked this. I literally posted this today, and we had like 17 questions come through. So I'm very grateful. So board certified book addict asked, "What are some of your favorite book tropes across various genres?"
Ooh, let's start with romance. So for romance, I love Friends to Lovers.
Mm.
Give me
Okay.
give me one bed. Like one bed, so it like the minute they get to the hotel, it is like you like the author's like this is going on in the city and that's going on in the city, and they only got one room and one bed. I already know where we going. So this is a great book. 10 out of 10, no notes.
Mm.
So yeah, I also love Enemies to Lovers. Surprisingly, I love Enemies to Lovers. Friends to Lover, Enemies to Lovers, One Bed, is my romance tropes. Like any of those three things right there end up in there, I'm in there. So one bed can sell me a book. Um, in mystery, I love an unreliable narrator. I love an unreliable narrator.
Me too.
I think that's why I love The Perfect Marriage. I think that's why um Beautiful Ugly is another one. Um so yeah, I think I just if done great, I love it. When it comes to YA, I'm a little all over the place with YA. I love a good self-discovery. I love a good coming of age. Similar to if it's like a YA romance, I love a good friends to lovers, strangers to lovers, love at first sight. Um, of course, one bed is done a little bit differently in YA, but still sold if it's a one bed situation. Shout out to Elise Bryant for doing a great job in one of her books, Courage and Delilah Year of Falling. She did a great job doing the one bed trope with teenagers. It was really good. Oh, and I love a slow burn. Love a slow burn. Like it drives me up the wall the whole time, but I love watching the characters fall in love slowly.
Mm. I have a love-hate relationship with slow burn just because like if I'm 80 pages in and there's no chemistry. Like if it's a slow burn, I'm gonna need some chemistry. Like banter. I need there to be a reason you were pulled to them, but you don't want it, but you do. Like there's something about that push and pull. Like I love it. Like I love it when it's like we shouldn't be together, but I still want you. I am here for it. I am here for it. I also love a good like taboo romance where
Yeah,
it's like I know it's not for everyone, but it's for me. I love a good like age gap as long as it's like if she's 20 or he's 20 and their love interest is in their 30s, right?
right.
That's a good period of time. But there's something about like the love interest being in a different phase of their life. And like you shouldn't want them. Like they're not available to you, but there's this pull and like I don't own this book yet, but it's by one of my favorite authors, and she's that girl. And it is The Moon and His Tides by Gianna Darling. It follows a kind of a poly relationship, and there's a little bit of an exploration of sexuality and someone who's kind of navigating that while also falling in love with two people at the same time. And those two people at the same time are married and they're falling in love with him. It is very interesting. And the title, The Moon and His Tides, you don't know who the moon is. There's two male love interests and they're falling for each other, but there's of course something in the way and it's not simple. And there's sexual tension and there's yearning and there's Hollywood and they're in London, then they're in their Italy. Like Gianna builds this world of like passion and like yearning and desire, but also like fear of being vulnerable and like these two men who are becoming one is already a really big movie star in London and the other one is like a driver for the couple, but he's this like handsome Italian man and like he kisses the love interest and like they have a moment on the beach and like you're just like you just want them to be together, but then he's
Yeah.
also falling for the wife and they're sharing cigarettes and
I'm like literally looking at
there's so much tension and
I'm
it's
like,
so good.
I
it
need to
is
it's
it
coming
is
from
one of the best books I've read about falling in love for the first time, and it's like right person wrong time. And Gianna, one of the best tropes for queer love and queer books that I have read is there's something about like I want you. And it's like, then you have to earn me. There's something about that dynamic of like, you want me, earn me. Like we can't do this in the dark. You can't hide me. You can't, but A, B, and C. No, if you want this person, you need to go out and get them. If they
Yep.
want you back, what's going on? That was one of the arguments in that book. I want you. So earn me. And the main character of that book says, he's like, I want the moon, I want the stars. I want it all. I want a love that like bends time. And then the male love interest is like, he gives him a watch and he's like, for the moon and his time. It says something like that. And then
Yeah.
the main character, Sebastian, he's like he's feeling things, right? And then something happens. This heart, oh, it's gonna break your heart. Put it back together. And the next book is coming out soon, and it's I'm so excited. So I do not own this book yet because the special edition I want I cannot find. But once I get it, I feel like I'm a meme. It's like once I find you, my Shayla. I'm sitting here and I'm like, once you're in my hands, I cannot wait to have that book. But it's that has one of my favorite tropes, which I think is why choose. I also think it's really nice to see like I don't feel like people discuss this very often, but there's something about like books set in Europe and then in comparison to like standards of like the UK or the US, like intimacy and sexuality, nudity, like all these things are different in Europe. Like they perceive it differently versus in the UK, maybe they're more refined, maybe they pull away a little bit more. There are certain conversations that were happening where you were like, for this one character, doing things in public or expressing their feelings so openly is natural. It's
Yeah,
natural. And especially for men, he's describing his emotions with such passion. And then the love interest from the UK is a lot more like he's hiding things a
yeah.
lot. And you're like, what's going on? And his wife is like, let's share. And the husband is like, torn. So I was like, but why? Why? So there's just lots of conversation. Also, I will give a bit of a spoiler. The character who approaches Sebastian is the husband after an acting event. He approaches him in a crowded room, and everyone knows him and the famous actor. And he goes to Sebastian and he's like, we'll wait for you in the back. Like, we're waiting in the car in the back. We're waiting for you. If you want
Oh,
us, come get us. Sebastian's
oh,
like, mm-mm-mm. He goes, he gets them. There's yearning, there's love. But of course, there's a catch. And it's so
man.
good. It is so
Always.
good. But yeah, also please check the trigger warnings for any of these books because, of course, they may touch on mature content. There may be discussions of like mental health and things like that. But it is worth it. Oh, it's so good. So that's one of my favorite tropes has to be age gap, taboo romance, why choose, and I want you, then earn me. Yes. Also, I'm here for Grumpy Sunshine. I love
I
a
was just
character.
about to say that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Grumpy Sunshine definitely, and I saw something that was completely different because normally if it's like heterosexual romances, it's always the man is the grump and then the female is the sunshine.
Yeah.
And in the Christmas Tree Farm, which is in the Dream Harbor series, the author does a great job of doing the grumpy sunshine, and the grumpy is actually the female main character. Sunshine
Yes.
is the male main character, and that was like the first time that I ever saw someone do it that way, and I was like, yes, because why does they always got to be the female main character to be like the sunshine, happy-go-lucky person? Let me make this. Let me, beauty. I'm beauty. He's the beast, and let me
Yeah.
save him, or. So yeah, so when she done it that way, I was like, let let's do a little bit more of that.
I love that. I want to see, I don't know if this is a trope, but I would read it. There's something about like the older sibling, like the main character is like the older brother or the older sister, and their love interest is someone who's like an only child. So
Yeah,
when they meet the main character, if you've ever felt something for someone who's like an older sibling, they take on all the work, they're caring for everyone, they can be burnt out. It's a lot emotionally, and it's hard
yeah.
to turn off. It's hard to receive a lot because you're so used to giving a lot.
Hmm.
Um, I love a trope where it's like, let me take care of you, but specifically for the main character who's used to caring for their whole family or used to taking on a lot of stuff. There's something about uh the love interest being like, I've noticed you're doing a lot. Let me do this. Let me take care of you.
Because like in real
Mm.
life, I'm a sucker for that, and like so like um love languages. That's actually like acts of services is one of like something that ranks a little bit higher for me. Outside of words of affirmation and physical touch. So it's like words of
Mm.
affirmation, physical touch, and then acts of service. Like especially because I'm like so busy outside of like I work, I'm in school full time, trying to wrap up my doctorate degree. So like I'm always doing something. And then also I'm in my community, my book community here, working at the bookstore often, or leading a book club, or leading actually two book clubs now, or doing something. And so like when someone does something for me, knowing that like, oh, I always have something going on, and it's like, oh, let me do something for you, or like let me plan. Like my best friends do a religiously great job of like sometimes when they know I have a lot going on of saying, hey, let's just go to dinner. Let's go to dinner. I'll pick the spot, just meet us there. Great.
That's so sweet.
Thank you. And not having to have a lot of forward through. I'm hoping that whenever relationship does happen, that is something that someone understands. Like sometimes I'm just very busy, like just think about me. So like when it's done in a book, I'm like, I'm a sucker for it. Yes. Yes.
You know what? Yeah, I will say if we're bringing up love languages and books, for me, what I like to be happen to me, is that I am a sucker for quality time. I really love like spend time with me, like give me all your attention. Like people who say there's an Ariana Grande song where it's called Needy, and she's
Yeah.
like, doesn't it feel good to be needed? Like, that is literally my love language. It's like I want you to know that I need you and I like you and I want you, but also like I'm gonna need that attention. Like it's the energy of like when I go to the bookstore, I don't want them on their phone. I don't want to be on my phone. Besides getting my little social media pics, 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
tap out. Once my phone is down, you're reading, I'm reading. If you look up, it's only to look at me. It's the energy. It's the energy. I'm sitting here and I'm like, you need to like your books like you like me, thick,
Yeah.
cute, full of drama. And it's just the energy. Like, if you want less, go find less. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? So I love like that element of like I'm your biggest fan. Like I'm your cheerleader. Like no one goes harder for you but me. Like let's go. Like there's something about quality time. So
Yeah.
when I read books where it's like the love interest, be it female, male, non-binary, I just want the love interest to be like they felt like I felt harder. Like also for if I'm discussing dark romance, I like mine a little unhinged. Like I need you to be like parkouring upstairs, up walls, Spider-Man. Like my dream girl was literally a black Peter Parker. I wanted a black female Peter Parker. I wanted a female or non-binary Miles Morales, but in their 20s. Like that was a very specific. That's what I wanted. I ordered that shit on Amazon, and now I have my partner. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, manifest that puppy. If you want somebody, it sounds strange, but like be hella specific because
Yeah.
I was in Big Bamboo. There you go. So that's the energy, so I try to pick books, especially if I'm gonna read like queer books that are related. I try to find books if I'm going to the adult section that are like love interests that I find interesting. You know what I mean? Or like that are like atmospheric or like there's something about them. Like they walk in the room and it's an energy. Like I recently heard the song where he goes like, I'm the biggest, the largest. It's just it's something about that energy where like the
Yeah.
main character sees him across the room. They're like, oh, you can tell they're
Oh,
love
what's
interest.
another trope? And I know we gotta for time, we gotta kind of
Yeah.
have more questions, but this is my last one. My other favorite trope, honestly, is fake dating. Fake
Ooh.
I
Yeah.
don't know what it is about that trope, but if done good, if done good. I
Mm,
just recently read a book called Finding Prince Charming.
cute.
I reviewed it. It was real cute. It comes out next week. Um, and it was done good. Like, it's a running joke now at the store because when I came to book club, I was like, let me tell y'all something. If I ever fake date a prince, not knowing, and then find out he's a prince, and I get mad about it, please slap me. Like, I give y'all permission to slap me and tell me I'm tripping. But it was so cute. If you haven't checked, if you're interested, check it out. It comes out next week. Or in this case, for when this podcast is released, it's out. So run to your local bookstore, hopefully your local
Yeah.
store. Jamar J. Perry wrote the book. So cute. But yes, fake dating when done well, love it.
I
Chef's
love fake dating too. Yes. I'm here also for a marriage of convenience. I
yes.
don't mind a marriage of convenience. And I will say there is something about the my wife or my husband or like my man, my man, my man.
Man.
Like do
Mhm.
not there's something about like touch her and you die, touch him and you die. There's something about possessiveness. You are
Yes.
literally here and you're like, I love fake dating. And I'm like, touch them and you die. Like I
Wow.
will literally end you. This also like cinnamon roll. I love when a love interest is super sweet and soft and wonderful, but the
I
moment
love
their
those
partner's in
too.
danger, they're like, It's over.
I love a golden retriever. I love a golden
I love a
retriever.
golden retriever. I love it. In real life as well, people claim they want like dark, tall, and mysterious. Personally, for me, I will take a golden retriever any day. I will take a literally find someone who will go to the grocery store for you in the middle of the night because you have a tummy ache and want Tums.
Yeah.
Find it. I promise you, it's amazing. I 5 out of 5 stars. I rate it very high. It's great. So I'm very happy here. So yes, it's an amazing trope in books. It's also great in real life. So I'm manifesting that for you, listeners. If you don't have it and you want it, I'm manifesting that for you too.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Next question. Read with Ari asked, "What do you do when you're in a reading slump?" A few people ask this too.
Yes. Interestingly enough, when I get into reading stuff, I just don't read. Like I don't actively try to get out of it. Like if I've started something, I'll just read it when I feel like it. But honestly, that's my time to catch up on Netflix.
Okay.
Instagram. Like I was in like a miniature reading slump over Memorial Day weekend. So like I initially was like, oh, I'm going to finish this book, this book, this book. Off Friday and we're closed on Monday. So it's a 4-day weekend. I got all this time to read and ended up honestly just catching up on Netflix. When I'm like, okay, it's time to get out of a reading slump, I'll pick up a graphic novel. Like if I'm really like, yeah, I need to get out of a slump. Last summer or summer before last, it's actually summer before last. I was in a reading slump and I went and picked up the Heartstopper series and finished the rest of it. And that got me out of my slump. And then once I got back out of it, and then I was able to kind of pick up some other things. So that's what I do. Like I just kind of either ignore it and just read what because I run a book club, so I have to read my book club pick, at least because I'm a book club lead, so I have to at least do that. Other than that, I don't try to commit to like anything else that month. And I'm actually in a good place in my own personal reading goals. So like I could really I'm too far, I'm like very far ahead in my reading goals. So I could literally just cut back on a lot of reading if I got into a slump. So
Speaking of reading goals, out of curiosity, this is my question for you. I have two. This is one. What is your reading goal for the year?
so oddly enough, 96. And
Ooh.
somebody was like, why not 100? So 96 because it evened out evenly across 12 months. Uh,
Okay.
and then also too, I looked at how much I read last year and what was my goal. So I looked at I always look at what was my goal last year, how much did I end up reading, and then I kind of bring it down a little bit. So I read like 101 last year. So I said, okay, 96. And so we'll see.
I'm at 90. So that's my number. It was originally 80, but I hit it. And I will say this, when it comes to reading goals for a very long time, I didn't have any. I just felt like it was adding pressure and it was taking away from the enjoyment of reading because I'm a very competitive person. So if I have a number in my mind, I'll do whatever I need to do to get to that number.
Yeah.
But I realized that after reading One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston, which is the same author who wrote the movie.
Oh, Red Riding Royal Blue.
Yes, she wrote a really beautiful queer, like, we shouldn't but we want to kind of romance, Red, White, and
And no,
Royal Blue.
they do an amazing job.
The movie was great.
I've read Red Riding. So my first introduction to them was Red Riding Royal Blue, and then I read The Pairing. And so, fun fact, One Stop is actually going to be the book club pick for my November book club. Because
Wow.
we're trying to. I was on. That was like the 1 month that I didn't have something, and I was like, oh, I need to do something sapphic, and so I went with One Stop, and so I'm very excited to read that because I think that would be almost everything by them that I've read. So we're getting to a
We're
full.
getting there.
Getting,
Yes, I One Last Stop was the book that really was there for me during a really hard time. So I'm actually this is my eighth or ninth time rereading it.
yeah,
And it was the first episode of this podcast. So it's
yeah,
very close to my heart. And it's also the book I'm holding in the podcast art. And it's my entire theme of all my colors.
yeah,
It's the first special edition I ever owned. So it's very special to me. But yes, One Last Stop is absolutely wonderful. So both my editions are with my girlfriend and with my best friend. So I actually don't have one on me right now.
yeah.
Okay, so my tip for getting out of a reading slump, it does happen to me sometimes. I am here for a good reading challenge. So if you're in a reading slump, what I like to do is like I like to find a trope or maybe a genre that I haven't really read a lot of. And even if you like write these things on a piece of paper and put them in a little like jar or a cup, shake it up, pick a piece of paper out of that cup, and then that is the next book you have to pick is from that genre or from that microtrope. I have found that's been really helpful for me whenever I'm in a slump. So like if I haven't read a autobiography or a sci-fi or a thriller and I've just been reading romance, now I'm in a slump and nothing's really hitting the same, I try to pick from a random genre that I have not read from in a really long time. And that
Yeah.
usually hits. Also, audiobooks. I am a big audiobook girly. Go on Libby, go on Hoopla. If you have a library card, you can get them for free. And there's so many amazing books that are audiobooks that have like amazing audio voices. It's very immersive. So I
I
recommend that.
recently got into audiobooks, and that has been such a like
Yeah.
entertaining thing for me. So I'm team audio lately.
Same. Audiobooks are absolutely amazing. Okay, next question from Book Dragon Aaron is what are red flags in characters for you?
I don't really think I have any. Like I was looking at that question earlier today, and I was like, honestly, because I don't look for reality in fiction. So
Mm,
like I'm not one of those people that need to be grounded in reality, if that makes sense. So like, I mean, typical red flags, narcissistic things, gaslighting, those things, yeah, that's gonna make me dislike a character.
yeah.
Um, but like there's not like I have like a running list of like red flags. Like that's I was trying to think about
Yeah.
there like
Um, I
I
think I
mean
have three
here's
red
the
flags, which are also my red flags for people in real life.
yeah,
I'm not here for like in this romance genre, I'm not here for liars. I do not like love interests who've been lying to you the whole time.
yeah.
And then they're like, oh, I had good reasons. And I'm like, how
Did
can you consent to certain things if you didn't know?
hmm
If you didn't know, it changed to me, it changes a lot when you've
Yep.
been lying the whole time. Like, yeah, that's a red flag for me. Another red flag is like abuse. Like in books where like someone like grabs someone in the heat of the moment. It happens sometimes in the dark romance genre where it's not in a it's like it's not wanted. It's like they are very angry. They have some dark stuff from their past. They do some abusive ass shit.
Yeah.
Personally,
And you see, that's why I think I don't have many red flags because I don't read in that
yeah.
area of romance.
Yeah, I mean, I've also seen it in urban romance as well, where there's like name calling, where like if they get into a disagreement, they'll call them a curse word of some sort in the heat of the moment. I don't like it. Like personally, for me, it's a red flag. Like you should never be calling someone names in a disagreement.
Mm,
Um, yeah, it's childish, it's fucked up. I'm not here for it.
yeah.
So that's a red flag for me. And my last red flag for book characters is there's something about manipulative people in books where like they have been kind of playing mind games, like a master manipulator the whole time, and then they end up getting the love interest in the end. And they're like, "Oh, my love healed you." Nah, girl. Like they're the same person. They're the same person. Yeah, but I guess that's my red flags is physical abuse, and name calling in arguments in books, as well as master manipulators who are painted out to be like the hero or painted out to like, oh, you like love changed them.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, it did not.
But
And
then
it
I,
doesn't work that way.
Maya Angelou said it best: if someone shows you who they are, believe them.
Facts.
So yeah,
Yeah, so that those are my little red flags. Be aware I read a lot of different genres,
yeah.
but it yeah, no, I'm not here for it. Next one, Decanting Books asked, I'd like to hear about your favorite books. So do you want to mention one of your favorite books and kind of fan person about it?
Oh, it's so hard picking a favorite book. But ooh, you put me on the spot here. Um, because like
Sorry.
I love like ooh, so one of them is actually in my recommendations, so I'm not going to talk about it.
Okay.
If anybody know me, and everybody knows I'm a big Julian Winters fan, so anytime I recommend something,
That's what I was thinking.
will be in the mix. So Julian, if you're listening, you know you're in the mix. You know you might. So I'm not gonna have to sell it because I'm gonna sell it later. Um, so Terry Bennett J. Walker, he is the author of Blood, Death, and Blood Justice. That is it's set in New Orleans, magic, very just it's just so good. Family dynamics are very weird. You have your um typical, not typical, but like it's set in New Orleans, so you're thinking Creole, Creole, voodoo, all of the things with magic and ancestry, all of the things. And so I love Blood, Death, and Blood Justice. I'm really hoping for book three to be announced soon for this series. Another one of my favorite books um is we're gonna go. Let me do this. I'm gonna save myself the drama.
Okay,
I have my Canva open on the side right here.
cool.
I have a title
I
in my
will also add, I have Blood, Debt, and Blood Justice on my TBR for the podcast. So if you're ever
feedback.
down, we could
Yes,
always do you could do a reread, and it'll be my first time, and we can always discuss it because I'm
yes,
here for Southern Gothic, Black, and queer. I'm here for it. So no spoilers for the listeners out there, but I do know this book. I've heard people say that for lovers of like beautiful creatures, and like blood marked as well as
yeah,
blood at the root, this book I have heard compared to those stories.
yes. It
I,
is.
I specifically refer to beautiful creatures as just because of characters like Gemma, who had that magic and she like prayed to her ancestors and they moved through her and she was super old and like she tied the whole story together. I was a huge fan of her character, and I've been looking for characters like her, as well as Bonnie from the Vampire Diaries. And I've
Yeah.
heard this book gives that energy.
It does give that energy.
Yeah.
So another one is I'm a huge fan of Dr. Daniel Black. He wrote Isaac's Song, Don't Cry for Me, Perfect Peace. So I'm a name drop those because those are great books. And another one is PRTTY and Together by hold on. Why can I not think of my boy's name? Um this is why I need to you can't put me on the spot.
I'm sorry.
Because I could talk about my faves all day. Keith F. Miller. So yes, Together and Pretty by Keith F. Miller. If you're looking for something that's just going to make you smile, but also break your heart all at the same time, but that makes queerness normalized in such a way that we are talking like we're in the hood. We're talking like gains, all of the things that typically happen in what they consider to be the hood, but queerness is normalized, and it's such a
Mm.
refreshing thing to see, and it was such a good, both were such a great read. Definitely recommend those. So for the record, um Blood, Debt, Blood Justice, Terry Bennett J. Walker. Anything by Dr. Daniel Black. Shout out to Don't Cry for Me, Isaac's Song, and Perfect Peace. And then Together Are Pretty by Keith F. Miller are some of my favorite books out there. And then, of course, my stack that we're going to talk about in a bit.
Awesome. Okay. I have added some of the books as well that I've mentioned in this part so far. Obviously, The Moon and His Tides, One Last Stop. Those are some of my suggestions for favorite books. Favorite's a very hard question for a book lover, may I add. Ooh, that's a very, very hard question. It's like asking what your favorite ice cream flavor of all time is. It's difficult. Some people know off the top of their head, and some people need a minute to get their thoughts together. So yes, okay. All right, I'm going to add the next question. So thank you for everyone who's listening. All right, so the next question is from my friend, actually one of my coworkers, and she also has a book blog. So Vashti Reads asked, what makes you immediately put a book down? For example, an immediate DNF, an author you would never pick up. What's the reason? So yeah, those were her questions. So first one, what makes you immediately put a book down? Like you DNFing it, like it's over.
I just can't get into it. Like I'm gonna give it a couple of chapters, and if it just gets to the point where like this is becoming more, because I see reading as a luxury and not a chore. And so like
Mm,
if this is becoming more work for me to get through your book, then it's not for me. Like I'm not the target audience for this book.
okay, got you. Next part of the question was, um, who is an author you would never pick up, and what is the reason? It's okay. We're not bashing these authors. This is just an honest answer. I'm not tagging them at it. They see it. They see it. It's the internet. Shit happens.
SJM and Colleen Hoover. And that Colleen Hoover, for all intents and purposes, I don't think she's a great writer. And SJM, the controversy behind using Breonna Taylor's death to promote her book, like that's just trash take to me to do something like that in the midst of a uprising within the Black community. So I mean, I feel like that's common within the community anyway, when it comes to those two authors. So yeah.
Um, I'm not piggybacking off your comment by any means. I have read Colleen Hoover when I was younger. Before a lot of things came out, I wasn't on social media like that. She was my first introduction to young adult romance. She was accessible through my library, so it wasn't like I was searching. She was there. But now I'm able to see through, like, the older you get, you see things 50-50, you see things differently. And I guess I didn't realize, and I didn't know at the time, her books weren't diverse. They didn't show healthy relationships. They more often than not perpetuated really toxic and uncomfortable sexual situations. There were just a lot of things. And of course there is drama as well. But like, just from my personal experience from reading her books, there were a lot of things that I read and I used to think, like, I hope it's not going to be like this. Thank God it wasn't. But some of the things that she wrote was not always great and not always supportive or helpful. And if there was a Black character, we were always side characters. We were never main characters. So yeah, it means a lot to be seen in books, and it hurts when someone actively doesn't include you. So there's a lot of other reasons, but I'm actually not a big Colleen Hoover fan. I think an author who I don't plan on reading, you all probably know this, I've actually never read a full Harry Potter book. I've started them. I actually never finished them growing up. They weren't for me. I was a Percy Jackson girly pop. So, and Rick Warden even has fucking problems. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, where? So it's where? That's my future. That's my childhood. In the trash. But I'll always love Percy Jackson books. I love the characters, but the author, do I stand?
Similar to the whole. I mean, J.K. is not a fan. I'm not a fan anymore.
Neither am I.
I appreciate childhood. Harry Potter was what got me into reading, but recognizing as a member of the LGBTQIA plus community, I have to stand in solidarity with my trans brothers and sisters. In that, and I can't find myself to support someone who actively seeks to harm, them using the money from her series. So what do I look like? Continuing to buy into it. So yeah.
If you don't support everyone in the queer community, you don't support any of us. You don't get to pick and choose. Sorry. No. So yes, I'm sitting here thinking about, when I read a book, I want, like, one last stop for me. That was one of the first times I'd ever read about a found family built from queer people in a book that was like accessible to me. Where we don't die at the end, where there's no, like, there's trauma and there's pain, but it's communicated and discussed in a safe environment. Like, we're a Black woman in the book, even though she's a side character, she's loved on so much. And we also have drag queens, and we have time travel, and we have food looking to culture and passion. If you don't have a first book to give you that experience, how it's lonely, So books give you that sense of community, and then you go out and you find it in real life. So non-binary, trans, lesbians, gays, like pan, like all of us in the LGBTQIA plus community deserve to be seen and loved and heard. And any authors who don't do that, I don't need you
at all.
Yeah, and I'm not going to buy your books. So there's that. So you may not like the queer community, but y'all love our money. So I'm not going to give it to you. Yeah, but the authors who do include us and do the research, I am here for it. If you're a straight author and you want to write queer characters, get sensitivity writers or readers. You know what I mean? Talk to people in the community, do your research, be mindful, be considerate and respectful. And I think as long as you're respectful, you do your research, and people will be reading and giving you feedback and you receive that shit, cool. Cool, 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 cool. Cool, 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 cool. But yeah, when it's disrespectful, it's a no for me, big dog. Or when you make us villains in a mean way, it's a no for me, big dog. Nope. So yeah, yeah, that'll make me DNF a book real quick. Also, I am not here for I'm not here for when they write black characters, but they only write us with stereotypes. Like we're not actually real people. Like it's very one dimensional. Or
Well,
they,
and also, he shows me that you only know Black people in one way.
yeah.
I often tell people, and I have this conversation often in my community because my research outside of all of this is around Black and Latino students,
Mm.
particular. And I often have this conversation with people as I'm talking about my research to say, like, hey, Black people are not a monolith, nor are Latino or Hispanic people are not a monolith, depending on where this person's family might have immigrated from, how long they've been here in the United States. When it comes to Black people, Black Southern people are different from Black people in the North, are different from Black people out in the West, are different from Black people out in the East. And so we often don't have that conversation as because people try to often just say blackness looks one way and then they write
Mm.
stereotype. And I know we're going to get to that later in our conversation. So I'm gonna hold my soapbox on that. But yeah,
Your soapbox is always welcome wherever I am. I will say with all these things I'm mentioning that I would DNF a book. I will give a little bit of like sparkle. This right here, black queer people holding space for each other, like black lesbian, like the black gay, like we are here to support each other and love each other. And we can share a space. There's actually room for both of us.
yeah,
I have read a book where there were two black gay characters, but they were like, they weren't friends. Like they could not coincide. And I just remember reading that book and being like, this perpetuates the idea that like a black gay woman and a black gay man, like we can't, like there's not enough room for both of us. And that's some
yeah,
toxic shit because there actually is enough room for both of us.
yeah,
The issues and the struggles and the things that you face, I will never understand, but I can hold the space and be there for you and be supportive in any way that I can, and vice versa. One person's struggles does not differentiate or diminish my struggles. Your struggles are as real as mine.
yep,
You know what I mean? And there's love and protection and care for both sides. So that is one thing that will make me DNF a book as well, where it's like there are gay characters or queer characters, but they cannot be friends. Or there's this weird like we're not the same. I don't like that. Like not here for that. Like we should be all united together, especially in the book world. So yes. My last question, that's like a lighter question, is from Thalia from Mama. So it's Mama's Reading Corner. And she says, what makes you pick up a book to read? Like I guess what pulls you in to read it?
the cover.
Mm.
I am a judge a book by its cover. So if you saw my video that I posted yesterday, I'm like always judging books by their cover, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be good. Um, in the taglines, like the taglines that they have been doing in books lately, I'm not a very much so into the whole comparison of like if you liked Red, White, and Royal Blue, you'll like this, or if
Mm.
or no, I like those. Actually, I do like those. The ones I don't like is the ones that like if Red, White, and Royal Blue and the Gilmore Girls had a baby, and so so
Yes.
I'm not a fan of that.
Okay.
But like something like actually my book club pick for the month that we're reading is called When the Harvest Come. It literally starts off by saying the revered Reverend Dr. John Freeman did not raise his son Davis to be touched by any man, let alone a white man. He did not raise his son to whisper that man's name with tenderness. That took me in right there. I was like, we're reading this.
Ooh.
We're reading this. That's all I had. And then not gonna say who the author was, but one month I totally picked my book club pick based on the attractiveness of the author. I opened the back of the book and saw how attractive the author was, and I was like, "Yeah, we're reading this." And it ended up being a good book. We laugh about it, but it was a great like we laugh about the reason for me picking the book,
Mm-hmm.
but the book was really really good.
Okay.
So I've done a lot of crazy shit when it came, but definitely covers. The first part of the synopsis are if I like this book, this you if you like this book, If you like this book, then that book, and then sometimes we'll just go off attractiveness of the author.
I'm a simple girly. If you can pull me in the first page, I'm in.
Okay.
Like when I go to a bookstore, I will open up a book. If the first, I'll give it the first page. If the first page, be it an author note, a dedication, the first chapter, if you can pull me in, my favorite books have really good first chapters.
Yeah.
The middle may not always be super great, but if you can pull me in and establish that I should care or something's wrong, like in a thriller,
Mhm.
ooh, I love
Oh,
it.
I
Like,
love a good thriller that starts off at the end, and then we go back to like, how did we got here? Like,
yes,
yes, yes, yes.
yes. For me, one of my favorite um sci-fi horror books is Jackal by Aaron E. Adams. And the first chapter is from a mother's point of view about her daughter going missing. And that's not even the main character, but it's part of the lore. And it's horrific and it's terrifying, but it also pulls you into this sense of dread. And the missing element isn't even like a human, it's an entity. And I love that. Like, I love like bigger than life, like the monster itself is a metaphor for something else, but
Yeah.
it's almost like sci-fi-esque, like what is going on. Like The Honeys, another amazing book, queer representation. My book is currently, it's in a box in storage because I don't have any more space, but that book, great queer horror sci-fi, where like cults. Oh, here's another book coming out soon and I'm here
Yeah.
for it. Like,
That's on
yes,
on my list for a minute. I need a
it's a very good book. I don't want to say too much, but like if you've ever been to like a summer camp as a queer person and you go to a summer camp and you feel isolated and left out and everyone around you is acting kind of like they're all cliquey, this book is for you. It is perfect for the summertime. Like, and I know the author is coming out with another book and I cannot wait to read it. Also, the book starts off with the main character getting attacked by their sister in an angry rage in the middle of the night and you don't know what's going on. And it's so good. And he's like laying in his bed and he gets attacked by his sister. It is really, really good. So I won't say that's a spoiler because it, like I said, you read the first page, it pulls you in, get it. Get it. I'm like Kermit the Frog with the black cloak. Do it. So that's that's me.
five to play.
Okay. Yeah, it's that's the energy. All right. So next question. This one is a little bit long, so let me know if you need me to repeat it.
Okay.
Okay. So the next question is from Spooky Reads, and they say, why is the female main character so damn tragic and edgy all the time? Either she is weak or tortured, or her whole ass family is murdered or kidnapped. Can't there ever be an adult woman? Hey, adventuring is cool, career path, but still gonna go home occasionally to have tea with my mom. Why are the men always fighting over the female main character? Why can't it never be like, this is my boyfriend, and this is my other boyfriend, and my boyfriends are also each other's boyfriends? We have a healthy communication in our relationship and adventures. So thank you so much, Spooky Reads, for sharing that question. What are your thoughts on that? Like with this concept of like the main character is always tortured, the male love interests sometimes are like fighting each other rather than like dating each other.
So I hate to be that person, but I think it's grounded in the patriarchy, honestly, and just
Mm.
is the need of the man to first when it comes to the female main character, um, either playing damsel in distress, or she has something that's going on, and she meets this man who's supposed to change her whole life, or the inner fighting amongst men sometimes. It has a lot to more do, I think, with the patriarchy and just how American society is set up. More than anything, I think there has been a yearning for us to kind of move away from that type of writing because women can be strong, independent women. Women can do things on their own. They don't have to be damsel in distress. They can save themselves. So I kind of been appreciating that kind of change in that. But also to let's ground. I also sometimes think we get into the book world, yes, because we want to not ground ourselves in reality, but we also need to realize that sometimes authors are writing from an acceptable perspective, and not and not everyone wants their boyfriend to be their boyfriend's boyfriend, and they're there to like sometimes most people are not into poly relationships. More of them are want to be mono uno. They want to do their thing with their person, and they only want to be with one person. And
That's true.
so while we may not like it in books, there's also sometimes that is an actual reality for some people. Um, is that they only want to be with one person, or sometimes in reality, people do like having seen people fight over them. Like it's something about a man fighting over you that probably makes that girl or that guy feel like, yeah, I'm that girl, I'm that boy. Like now you got two people fighting over me. Like what? I gotta choose? What you mean? Um,
I get that.
I think, like, yes, while it would be so much easier to take the easy way out and say, my boyfriend got a boyfriend and I got, and we're like, we all together and we're in this male female relationship or male female relationship. I also think that's not the reality. Would I love to
Mm,
read a book where that's the center, that's the reality for them? Yes. But also to also take into account that, hey, that's not where society's at. Am I
yeah.
kind of push our bounds? Yes, always, always. Let's push ourselves to do something different, but let's also, realize that sometimes let's just let the book be the book. Like I'm tired. I am also very tired of Frida. Why can I make
McFadden.
always writes the poor white girl.
Yeah.
Like it's poverty porn at this point. It's poverty porn. Um, that's a problem for me. Like, why are we always right? Like, why can't she just be rich? Why does she have to be poor?
Mm,
Like, why? Or like, why should she have to be dirt poor? Why she can't be like middle class,
yeah.
suburban, or whatever. But there's a market for it clearly. And so oftentimes I'm just like the book is not for me. I don't like to see female main characters always having to be in their ivory tower being waiting for Prince Charming to save them. And those
That's
things
true.
women don't need to be saved by a man all the time. Like another woman can save them, another person can save them. It doesn't necessarily have to be a man, and the man doesn't always have to be the person doing the saving. Why can't the woman save? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why can't it be flipped? Why can't it be the man is the one that's on edge all the time, and his whole family have been murdered and kidnapped or whatever, and now he needs this woman. Granted, that's also can be taken in many other different ways by saying like, why does a man need to why does a woman always need to save the man? Like
Mm,
for me, this question is kind of a slippery slope depending on who's talking and who's like listening, because it's one of those things depending on how you take something and how you view how you view your lens of feminist. Because as I remember, like there's feminists and then there's black feminists, and so like it depends on how you view these things. And this is where my academy brain is kind of coming on because this is the work that I do. Um, in my research. So I'm gonna just stop there because I can really get on the academic rant here.
I appreciate your academic perspective. And I do think that I have a complicated relationship with this concept of like, I just want to be saved. I can't help but hear that song. It's like, don't save her. She don't want to be saved. That's like, it's one of those things where like, there are certain books where I'll read it and I'll be like, you know what? This is like a Hallmark movie. I know how it's going to end.
Mhm.
I know what characters I'm
The
dealing
Dream
with.
Harbor series is the perfect example of a Hallmark
Yeah.
series. Like,
You know how it's going to end. And sometimes it's nice to have a reliable life is already so like insane. Sometimes you need a book that'll just give you what you know is like you already know where it's going. Like,
I know where it's
um,
going. I can turn my brain off. I know exactly how this is going to end. They're going to get. That's why I love Friends to Lovers. I know if they going to get together. Is it going to be some
yeah,
BS from page one to the time they get together? Yes. Am I going to probably
yes,
be pissed? Yes. But I know they're going to
yeah,
end up together, and it's better than this dumpster fire of a country that we're currently sitting in right now. So,
110%. I also will say that as a queer person, I get this a lot where people are like, "Well, why do you read straight romances if you're a gay person?" Personally, for me, I'd be changing pronouns in my mind.
I
Good
don't,
writing is good writing.
I don't
Like,
do that. Okay, I'll say it like this. How can we ask other people to read queer books or read
yeah,
books about black and indigenous and people black, brown, indigenous people of color? But then when people of minoritized races are of sexual identities are maybe reading a straight romance. Because I'm gonna tell you, I love Kennedy Ryan. I'm gonna read a good Kennedy Ryan book. I'm in a romance book club with I'm the only male in that book club.
Mm.
and I'm gay, and I'm definitely reading whatever we're reading. Like we just finished reading Abby Jimenez's new release that she recently. Like I like to read, and like
Mm.
so I don't I don't feel convicted into reading just queer romance or
Yeah,
male to male romance because I'm gay. Like at the end of the day, a sex scene is a sex scene. Like it's gonna depending on how you write it, you can only write sex so many different ways.
that's
Uh,
true.
and so to me, it's like love is love. And if you're
Yeah.
preaching that love is love, I can read it in a book as well. Like, I see myself like if I want to read a gay book, I'm gonna go pick up a gay book with two gay characters doing gay shit. If I want to read romance, I'm gonna just read romance. Like
Yeah.
my shelf is very diverse enough to say that like just because I'm queer, I don't subscribe to the notion that like everything that I read has to be queer. I read a good bit of queer. Like on my story graph, definitely like I think LGBTQ is like number two on
Yes.
right after romance. And so I don't try to adapt that mindset that I have to because I'm black or because I'm a queer identifying male that I have to read within that spectrum. Like I read all over. And I feel like there's diversity in reading all over. And so yeah, so that's my take on that whole perspective.
I do think that in relation to like personally, I I I will get down with the straight romance, man, woman, whatever. But for me, there's something special. Like I can't describe it, but there's something special about reading like a sapphic romance that I've it's very rare that I found a sapphic romance that does dark romance really well. You know what I mean? It's very rare that I found a queer romance that has this representation for mental health. Add black into that. Like I'm here for it. I don't want to die in the end. I don't want to have this concern in books that like it wasn't well written or the sexy scene is fade to black. I'm not a fade to black girl. But I did do an entire episode about books that do fade to black for listeners who wanted book recommendations for that, books that did not have sexy scenes. And I'm here for that, listeners. Like I love y'all. If you don't want sexy scenes, you don't have to have sexy scenes, and I'm here for it. But even my favorite author, my favorite series is mostly straight romances. And it wasn't until she wrote a sapphic romance, which I read recently and loved, I was just like, oh my God, I don't care who is sleeping with who. I just want it to be written well.
Yeah.
And sometimes I do change the pronouns in my head because the characteristics of the love interest, I just don't want to read about it. Like sometimes he irritates me so much that it may be toxic. I just change it to her, and then my brain is like, oh, I'm down for whatever. Like I'm sitting here and I'm like, stop it. My brain is like, but if you just change it to a woman, if you make it into Lena Waithe or my girlfriend, I'm immediately like, I will forgive all. But if it's like a man, I'm immediately like, burn him. I don't, it's horrible. I love men. Don't get me wrong. Men are great, fantastic, love them as friends. But I'm sitting here and I'm like, if you fuck with me too many times, burn them all. I'm sitting here and I'm like, he messed up too many times, Brenda. He's gotta go. I'm sitting, it's not okay. Don't have dumb bitch syndrome. Like, don't, there's some books where it's like this character, if it's a thriller and there's 1,000 red flags, I'm like, oh my God, he's gonna be the killer. And then he gets revealed as the killer, and I'm like, dumb bitch syndrome. Like we knew, like he had a knife in his trunk, girl. It's got blood on it. What's going on? So that's my thing with books is that like sometimes in romance books, if it's not written super well, I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna have to scan this like a motherfucker. But there's some books where it's written super well. I don't want it to end, and I'll read it so slow, and I don't care pronouns, gender. I just want to enjoy the experience.
Okay.
Okay. Next thing is going to be bookish opinions. I'm just going to ask you to say yay or nay and then
Okay.
give like a one sentence, like if you agree with this person's comment. All right, here we go. And then we're going to do our bookish recommendations. Okay, so this is from Book Recs by Celeste. And they said, I don't think people should rate books they didn't finish. I think only full reads, if you read the book all the way, should be rated. What do you think? Yay or nay?
Yay. We
Yeah.
talked about it. Like,
Yes, you were like, if you read it, you can review it.
yeah.
Facts. All right, booked all night pod. What's up, Pod Family? They said, "Oh, my biggest bookish ick is 200-year-old plus vampires, immortals, or spirits dating teens." And it's almost always an older guy dating a young girl, and they always go with, "I've been 17 for 200 years, Edward." No, sir. You just haven't visually aged, but time has passed, sir. You are not permanently 17. You look permanently 17. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know. That's tricky. I don't have a third. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go to the left well, this way on the camera, to the left on that one. Yeah, I'm not even gonna go down that slippery slope. Yeah, no, because
So
like,
if you met a fine ass vampire and he was like, "I've been 25 for 300 years and I want you."
yeah.
It's both of us turning our, if for people who are not looking
Have
at the
you
visuals,
watched Interview with the Vampire?
I have,
Have you watched? Okay, if
I
that
have.
man, if that man would come looking for me,
Jay, if Louis or Lestat from the Interview with the Vampire, the TV show, came into your bookstore and said, "I'm looking for a companion. I'm going
if
to make you
Luis
an
came looking for
offer."
a companion, if Luis came looking for a companion, it's over. I don't care. Don't care. Him or the other, I cannot think of the other guy's name. Not Lestat. The other love interest, the one
I
that,
know who you speak of.
yeah, yeah, yes, yes. Anyone?
Armand.
Armand. Yeah. I don't, no curls, babe.
Spoiler
Experience.
alert, rumor has it Armand is hella toxic, but he's so beautiful. And we
Like,
don't care.
cares?
We don't care.
And my thing is, in my grown 29-year-old brain, that's experience. That's experience. And if
That's
y'all know,
200 years of experience.
for the listeners out there, you know what I mean. That's experience.
I
And
also know what you mean.
who am I
You.
to
He's a
deny?
good man, Savannah.
You're a good man. Who am I to deny myself of 200 plus years of experience?
Yeah, that's definitely a perspective. So I am here for it. Their brain is so wrinkly and full of trauma and age and sexual experience and emotional feelings. Let me just rub your
You
ass
hear
real
me?
quick and be here for you. You know,
Okay.
teach me, enlighten me, feed on me. Ooh, who said that? So who said that?
Like,
So
right. You know what I
I
mean?
I hope I'm just your type, baby. Ooh,
Okay.
you know.
You need one. I got good vein.
You know what? I got strong veins, baby. I know I'm your type. Yeah. It's the vampire energy, you know? I'm black, honey. I won't crack, even if I'm immortal. That's
And better
Louis and
yet, if
you.
you want to keep this going, make me immortal.
Oh, you know what? Don't pull a Bella. Don't pull a Bella. Don't beg for it for a year. You realize Twilight only happened, the timeline was only a year? Yeah. Marinate on that, listeners. Next question. A novel account asked, "One of my bookish opinions is that the author's name should not be bigger than the title. This drives me crazy when this happens. Yay or nay? Do you like this? Yay or hate this? Nay."
This is another one that depends because if it's the author is a big person, so like let's think about like a Stephen King. His name is always going to be big because everybody knows Stephen King, and so
Yeah.
that's to grab from a marketing standpoint, that's to grab someone in to go and grab the book. So yay nay.
Okay. I forgot an author who I will never read again, and it is Stephen King. We may share a last name, but I'm not here for you, white racist man. Woo, who said that? I'm not here for you. I'm here for your son. I like Joe Hill. His son, love his writing. Stephen King, you can suck a nut. I am not here for you. I do not want to read your books. That's the kind of ish you watch from a distance. I'm good to go. So, yeah, I have my reasons. Look up the drama, look up the name of his dog, look up his ish. I'm not here for it. So watch The Shining. Who did he kill off right away? Yeah, not here for it. So rejected. You are not getting tickets to that show. Okay, he's gonna crack. He's already cracking. Let time finish him. So yes, that is that is my comment about the Stephen King. When it comes to authors' names, I kind of like them being smaller than the title. I feel like the book should be more focused on than the author
Yeah.
personally. I just think that even if they're like a super massive author, I'm just like, I'm here for your book. Like you created it, yes, but like once you put it out in the world, I don't think that it's yours anymore. Now it belongs to the readers to me. So yeah, keep your name small and your energy smaller. So yeah, that's my not for the black authors though, and not for the gay authors. But for Stephen King, keep your energy small. So yeah, that's the energy. Okay, so last question before we dive into the deep one, which is when we started this all. This is from Katie Wren Reads, and it says, I think my strongest opinion is definitely following folks who share books that they love. I find zero utility in reading someone's post, especially about a book they didn't like, and especially if they're mean. So when you see a post, if they're bashing on a book and you're following them versus someone who reviewed something and they absolutely love it, which do you prefer? Do you love people who are saying, I love this book, all about it, they post on social media? Or people who post about a book and they're like, 13 reasons why I hate this. Yay or nay? Which are you here for?
I'm here for people posting what they love, because that's the point of recommending a book. Like, I think for me, that's the point of Bookstagram is to recommend something that you love. Granted, there are people out there who will trash a book. I am of the belief that it is not for me. It is for somebody, but it's just not for me, and that's okay. And so I am always trying to keep my followers as the ones that are like uplifting books.
Okay. Uh, KITGE. I'm sorry, I didn't know how to pronounce their stuff correctly. Their question was, why do they always describe the male love interest? It looks like in their sorry. Why do they always describe the male love interest and it looks like their own damn personality trait is the synopsis of the story? For example, this is the clip they provided. Now Miriam must survive 4 months of training at the castle. She's bound to a feral direwolf who refuses to communicate. The other trainees would love to spill her common blood, and her cold and beautiful instructor Stark Therion is eager to punish only weakness. Everything is a competition, and everyone is out to get her, and everyone except the dangerously handsome crown prince, whose attention adds another target to her back. In the castle, every smile hides a knife, and the halls hide dark secrets. The person continues to say, this makes me immediately reject the romantasy. Both men sound like pricks. Miriam should kiss a woman. All right, yeah, girl. What does dangerously handsome even mean? Does one get a case of the plague when he winks? Honestly, that would be hilarious. Would love to see that. Um, yeah. What are your thoughts on that? When you read a book and the description is like, he had stormy eyes and black hair and he treats me like shit, but I will love him no matter what. And then my other option also treats me like shit. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Like both are mean. Like, what are your thoughts?
Again, this is probably out of my genre. I mean, I read romancery, but so the answer I was looking at what dangerously handsome is a figure of speech that they use to literally describe danger, or someone that is very attractive that could cause problems for you. Um, I don't know. This is kind of a tough one because again, this is one of those things where like not for me, but for somebody. Um, that is uh that is for somebody that's out there. It ain't for me. But it's for
Heard.
and so I'm gonna leave it at that.
Okay. The deeper question that started this all, and I wanted to share with you and the listeners, is someone who actually commented on a YouTube video of mine. So they said, this is from Sophie La Fleche at 3803. And they said, I genuinely would love to know your thoughts on a white person writing BIPOC characters or a heterosexual person writing LGBTQIA plus characters as main characters, not just surrounding cast. I also really love that you said you wanted more representation into genres like fantasy and small town romance, etc. And for the storyline to not focus on the struggles they go through because they are BIPOC or LGBTQIA plus. I found that a really interesting perspective. I am a writer, not published yet, and I have been told by many that I should not write what I do not personally experience, or that if I do write BIPOC or LGBTQIA plus, that I do have to address what they go through. They also say, I will look out for it. I guess part of my question is there a desire for all writers to have more diversity in their books, or just for readers to make sure they support diversity books by reading and purchasing more of these books? I personally find it really unnatural not to include different characters because what I am, because while I am not BIPOC or LGBTQIA plus, I have friends and family who are, but I have actually flat out been told not to write these characters because I am not, if that makes sense. So even though there's a very long question from what I kind of expressed, what are your thoughts on that? As I think they're expressing that they are not a person of color and they're not in the community, in the LGBTQIA plus community. They want to write with those characters in mind in their books, but they're being told not to. So and this person is now asking, do readers even want to read that? Spoiler alert, I think we do want to read diverse characters. I think we do want to see ourselves in books.
Yeah,
But
because
what are your thoughts?
I often think that when writers skip over having and, and, and again what this is again one of those trickier questions because yes, why should I beg a white author to include a black character inside of their books when I can just go pick up a Julian Winters or at least Bryan, or I can go pick up if we're talking LGBTQ, I can go pick up a MA Wardell, or I can go pick up a a Casey, or I can go pick up a VA Schwab's. I can go pick up like there's things that you can go pick up so many other things, like if that's what you're yearning for. And I get the whole concept because there has been a conversation a lot about these because I often think if we think about writing, yes, if there's no, because depending on where you grew up or where you're growing up or what type of the matrix of a town, let's think about it. There could be there's towns where the white kids only hang with the white kids and the black kids only hang with the black kids. So it would be plausible in a YA book that all the characters' main friend group is white, and that's okay. Um, I don't see a problem in that. And so I think if we're going to go out of our way to, pinpoint, oh, there is a black person in the school, I think because my imagination and because I grew up in that time where, we were taught, we were taught so much when it came to like reading and reading literature that I just automatically assume that there's black characters in the background. Like I'm because I see this as a movie and I'm reading this book and I'm assuming that, oh yeah, they're in a high school. So of course maybe their core friend group doesn't have a black person in it, but there's black people in this school and we don't have to acknowledge it all the time. Um, I was thinking, and when I saw this question when we were talking, I was thinking about a book. It was called Writing and Identity as Not Your Own, a Guide for Creative Writing. And I'll show it right here. And I can send out.
Yes, please send it to me because I will respond to the person who sent that comment in YouTube so they can
And
read
this
it.
is a local author here in the Dallas area, who wrote this book, and I think it does a great job of talking about, from a creative standpoint, talking about unconscious biases and biases blocks and all of those things. I don't for this person, if you feel convicted by writing this character by writing us, don't write us. I'm always interested because some of the best, and I say this so please understand where I'm going. Some of the best male to male romances I made were written by women. Written by women. And so I think about Loving the Legend by Kit. I love Kit. Kit Gray. I love Loving the Legend. I'm so looking forward to the second book in that series. Um, and I don't know what Kit's identity is, to be honest. I'm assuming because I'm just maybe making an assumption here. I could be wrong. They could be non-binary. I almost had the opportunity to meet Kid
Ooh.
at Queer and Quails this past year, but I wasn't able to. I had to end up not going. Um, but I think they do they do a good job as whatever their identity is. And again, I'm not going to assume here of writing a black male character that didn't fall into stereotypes. So if you're looking for a good read, where I think it's done really well, again, not knowing because this person doesn't show their face at all. So like I don't know what their race is, I don't know what their gender is. So I'm making a lot of assumptions here. I think they did a very good job of writing writing that book. to a point where I really rave about it often. I love loving the legend. I think I'm gonna force my book club to read it. Um,
I added it to the list. So all of the books that we're mentioning in this episode as well. I'm Jay and I are going to include that list. We also have a little mini queer book recommendation that's happening right after this. But every book that Jay is mentioning, I'm going to put a list in the show notes, both on Spotify and on YouTube, so y'all can find it. Because Jay's books are amazing. So I'll
so
mention.
And so to fully, I guess, to round the conversation out, I think it's just go read a book by a Black person, go read a book by a Hispanic person, go read a book by a queer person. Like, um, included, but also am a part of the community of people that I am not going to force somebody to write an identity they don't feel comfortable writing.
Mm.
For the sake of saying I can see myself in that novel, when there is a Frederick Smith out there, one and done. That was a really good book, set in higher education, which is the community I used to work in, and it was done really good. I was yearning for something that was set in my work, like that was Black, it was queer, it was everything, and it was an older romance, and it was really good. I don't feel the need, and this is like one of my soapbox moments, honestly, because I don't feel the need to beg somebody to write my identity, if that makes sense. And I feel like there's kind of been this place that the community has been kind of going, is that I want to see myself in every book that I pick up, whether it's a book written by a Hispanic author, or whether it's a book written by a white person. There should be a form of another race in there. And my thing is, at the end of the day, think about proximity. Think about proximity. I know where I lived at when I was a kid, and my proximity to whiteness was more when I was at school than I was when I got back on that bus and went home. I was around Black people when I went home. I was around my community when I went home. So my experience outside of the school system was always Blackness, was always
Mm.
Southern Blackness, was always country Blackness, and going to trail rides and doing all of the things that I did when I was living in my home state. And so I often think we're going down this nasty, nasty rabbit hole of wanting so much representation in novels written by white authors when there are Black authors who are not getting held, who are not getting pumped up and are not being getting the same things that white authors are getting, when there are amazing Black and brown and LGBTQ authors out there who deserve the same amount of energy you are putting into having these other authors write um Black characters or brown characters or queer characters inside of their books, when you can just literally just go pick up, like, if that's what you're yearning for, just go pick up a book. Just go pick up a book by one of these authors. Like, why force somebody to write something they don't want to write and then get mad when it's not done correctly?
I think that if this person who asked this question is saying, I want to write this, and they're unsure, or is there even a group of readers who want to read this? We want to see queer people in books, period. Do it respectfully. Talk to people. They did mention in their question they do have people in the LGBTQIA plus community in their family and in their friends. Ask them questions. Have them be your sensitivity readers. Reach out. Social media is an amazing tool. Like,
I
I don't think you
think
should be
about
afraid to write this.
this, and I also
Don't,
think
you
about Abby
know.
is because Abby has sensitivity writers because she often writes from like in her most recent book, we are talking about dementia and early memory loss in a parent. And so being a caretaker, um that is not Abby's reality. So what she did is she got sensitivity readers, she got people to read it to say, like,
Mm.
hey, am I on the right track? Am I saying, this is your experience? Can you let me know if this is that? And so I believe if that's something that you're passionate about and you want to really write, get get good beta readers, good sensitivity readers, get a good editor, maybe get an editor who's a person of color that can, or a person that's an LGBTQ community that can read that for you and tell you, like, hey, it's kind of fall into that stereotypical thing. Let's kind of bring that back. And so while I'm on my soapbox about it, about if you want to read something, just go find that author. There's a bunch of authors out there writing those books. Um, at the end of the day, if you feel convicted to write it, but then make sure you're writing it from a place of not a deficit lens. And I'll leave it at that.
Thank you. That was an awesome answer. All right, y'all. We're going to close out this episode with a little LGBTQIA plus book recommendation. So Jay has a few books that they're going to be recommending, and then I will go after them. But you are the star. You are the center. So tell us a little bit about the books that you chose. And these will all be linked in the show notes below. So yeah.
So Futbolista recently came out. I was actually in conversation with Jonny. Love Jonny to death, one of my favorite authors.
Ooh,
They are stepping into they're stepping into new adult, which is so anything by in new adult can sit comfortably in both YA and regular adult romance. So Futbolista, it's um set in college, so in Corpus Christi at Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Futbolista, of course, means it's a soccer, a soccer player or a football player, and so we have Gabby, who's a football player. This is coming of age, probably self-discovery. I'm bi, and I kissed the guy and I liked it. Is how I
ooh,
and so he falls in love with his tutor, and it becomes a whole thing, but he's kind of fighting typical masculinity tropes that are present within Hispanic culture or, culture for people of color. The next one is by Emma Wardell, Teacher of the Year. Actually, there's a whole um reprint of these coming out. So Teacher of the Year, Napkins and Other Distractions, and Mistletoe and Mischief are all being reprinted because my fave got picked up by a publisher. So they're republishing everything so they
it's
can also
amazing.
publish. And then The Husband of the Year, which is the last book in the series, is going to be published. So Teacher of the Year follows our Teacher of the Year, Marvin, who falls in love with his student's dad. Um, and so they're friend like, well, they go, they become friends and the friendship starts to deepen. And next thing you know, one thing leads to another, they're in love, and there's a lot of closet things that happen in here. Wink, wink. So love Teacher of the Year, love MA's work. Um,
Also, I have that book. So I'm actually planning on reading that book.
good,
So
so good.
I found a beautiful edition at Steamy Lit and I cannot wait to read it. It's gorgeous. It looks like it's gonna be really good.
It is really good. So next one, into a little YA, called Pride or Die. So this is a
Ooh.
book that just came out. I'm actually going to plug that. I'm actually in conversation with CL on June the 16th on Instagram Live on my page, and we're going to be talking about this book. There's an attempted murder that happens on the campus, and everybody. So the principal is kind of like blaming the LGBTQ club. He can't get the name right. He calls them the BLT Club. And so they kind of go on a detective hunt to figure out how did we get here, what happened, and they try to solve the attempted murder. It's really good. It takes place in Texas, and really and truly attacking, small town notions of queerness.
That
Um,
sounds amazing. I'm adding that to my TBR as we speak. I was I was listening to you and I was like, yeah, yeah. I'm adding it to my TBR. You see all the books behind me? I have a stack of books I need to read. Meanwhile,
Meanwhile,
yeah.
I'm scared to go box today. Oh, next. Okay, actually, I'm gonna save the best for last.
Oh,
So,
I
uh,
already know what it is.
you
I
already
saw
know
the
what it is.
corner. I already know who it is. Spoiler alert. Okay, Jay has a favorite
Favorite,
author.
favorite. Shout
And
out to
it's okay. I have my girly pop and you have yours. So I know who your two I know who your number one pick is.
yes.
Okay? So yes.
Okay, and anyways, so The Rebel's Guide to Pride by Matthew, actually just came out last month on May the 6th, so it's new. And this is really going after this. So I saw the comment, and this was made me want to recommend this one. This actually takes place in a small town, and pushing back on the small town notions of what family first looks like. Their main character recently comes out to his family. Dad wants him to stay in the closet because it's safer that way. But kids like Zeke's like, nah, this ain't it, man. I got to live my life. I got to, I'm ready to like fully embrace my identity. in this. And so he kind of goes on this rebellion against his dad and tries to like show his dad how he can be a bad gay. So he starts doing all these crazy things. Well, they have this pride event that they were planning. The mayor shuts it down, and then they go on this adventure of doing a speakeasy. And so it uses the speakeasy from the Prohibition days as a way for queer people to gather and celebrate Pride. And
Mm.
so, and then it does do like the little raids. So not to give too much away, but a speakeasy raid does happen. But definitely a great read if you're looking for like that small town read and how kids are pushing back against the system of oppression.
That sounds so good.
It's so good. And I actually just recently finished it. And then so last but never least, I Think They Love You by Julian Winters is one of my new faves by him. Anything running joke is anything that Julian writes, J loves. And so this one follows Denzel, who's a workaholic father and is the CEO of their event planning company. And so basically, dad announces he's retiring. Denzel's like, I want the company. Mind you, he does like out of nowhere, he feels like he has to pretend like because he got something to prove to somebody. And so his dad then puts him and his sister up against each other, gives us a task that they need to complete in order to show that they're ready to take over the company. And so like he's like, yeah, see, he's like, yeah, I am in a relationship with a guy, and then it's actually started off fake dating his ex. So it's like a second chance fake dated romance. And of course things get a little hot and steamy, and then they
Mm.
actually fall right back in love with each other, and actually heal some old broken wounds. And this is where one bad happened. In here, I think literally I wrote, and I really wish I could find a chapter. I should have tabbed it. But literally the one bad scene happens, and I'm like, one bad, yeah. And so, of course, my obsession with one bed is evident throughout the page, actually. Oh, there was a part that was like, it's the Florida of his starts. He knows his dad, but he refuses to acknowledge it. And so, so yeah, so I love it. And then, so I actually got to sit in conversation with Julian in person back in February. And so this is actually my signed copy that's never going anywhere. Um, because I actually on my bookshelf I literally have a whole row just Julian Winter's books.
I
Um,
love the commitment.
I'm very committed, and literally when he allows Last First Kiss, I was like, oh. And so I'm hoping to welcome him back for book club again, so we can wrap up our conversation about that.
You know
Uh,
what? I have a perfect question for you then. All
so
right. All right. Would you rather be able to have exclusive access to all of your favorite authors' upcoming books for the rest of his life? Like you get to read them first. Or would you rather meet Louis from Interview with the Vampire and you can become a vampire, but you can never read another one of your favorite author's books? But you'll be with Louis. You'll live in luxury, you'll live your best life, but you can never read one of your favorite author's books ever again.
Julian, if you hear this, I love you, friend, but I'm going to yeah, like that yeah, I would choose that vampire. I would
You're gonna stick beside him?
stick beside the vampire.
Oh wow. Because you know he'll get the book for you.
Yeah.
You know he'll get it for you. Like it's all right. I had to ask you that question because I'm if I had to choose between a vampire and a werewolf, I think I'm gonna choose the werewolf. They're always warm. They're always warm. Okay. They literally transform.
I can be warm for the both of us. So
You'll be a vampire. You'll be cold too. So you know what do you mean? You know what? It's okay. Where you want to be with your little Louis, want to live your best life with your Louis. I'm looking for a female Jacob. You know, that's the energy that's without
okay,
the
if it was
market.
literally an Edward versus Jacob thing, it would definitely be Jacob because while everybody was fangirling over over Edward, I was with Jacob like that. Yeah, they
Long hair and short hair. I was
they
here for the
did
long hair and the
they
short
did
hair.
they did their big one when they cast him.
He looked good. He looked good then. He looked good now. You know what? It's okay. And I'm here for it. All right. Here are my favorite queer books that I have read recently, and I tried to pick up books that I don't talk about all the time. So here they are, okay? So you mentioned graphic novels. I actually am a huge graphic novel girly. There is a book that I want to get a physical copy of, but it's currently on Webtoons. So for girly pops who have Webtoons, you can get this book for free. It is called Crumbs. And it follows, it's very cozy, and there's a cafe that has like croissants and muffins called Compassion and Trust. And long story short, the main character is of color, and they are trying to pass this like university so they can like get their magic powers. Like it's a lot. But long story short, they end up going to this cafe and they meet a really cute barista. And it's really cute, and it's an adorable graphic novel. So this is not an ad. If you have Webtoons, you can read this graphic novel. It's still up there for free, and it is by Danny Sterling. And they also have it on Amazon. But if you just want to save your coin a little bit and still support the designer and the author, it is on Webtoons. So that was a super good book. Another book that I want to mention is Crema. This is by Dante Luis. So the cover is two people and they're like leaning in to kiss each other. This is sapphic. It is a graphic novel. It is absolutely gorgeous. The inside is just beautiful tones of blue and orange and yellow. And the description of this book is Esme, a barista, feels invisible like a ghost. Also, when Esme drinks too much coffee, she actually sees ghosts, which is fun. Yara, the elegant heir to a coffee plantation, is always seen, but only has eyes for Esme. Also, the coffee plantation is in Brazil. It is owned by the family of color. When you hear plantation, you think trauma. There is trauma, but it's not about that. So yeah, there you go. Their world is turned upside down when the strange ghost of an old world nobleman begs Esme to take a letter from New York City to a haunted coffee farm in Brazil in order to reunite him with his lost love of a century ago, bringing sinister tidings of unrequited love. Oh, it is literally a tale of ghosts, coffee beans, and romance. It is gay. The graphic design is absolutely gorgeous. And the main character's best friend is a ghost from like the 80s. And it's just super unique. It's original. It's a standalone. Crema is absolutely amazing, and I highly recommend it. It's also really short, so you will fly through it. My next graphic novel, I read all in one day. I was sobbing by the end. It's about transformation and the monsters that we hide from ourselves, generational trauma. It is about love. It is about being in the closet and then finding self-acceptance and loving who you are without having to hide who you are. And this is The Deep Dark by Molly Knox Osterg. This book is pretty chunky, but I flew through it in one day. It's an amazing graphic novel. Go in blind. Don't look at any spoilers. It is absolutely amazing. I do want to give a trigger warning for blood. They're part of the story is like something feeding on you, um and it could allude to self-harm, I suppose. So trigger warnings, look that up for sure. This is somewhat fantasy, but it's rooted in reality. There are fantastical elements, but it is very much real issues and problems. So I don't want to say too much because it's one of the best graphic novels I've read in a very long time, and I feel like it touches on a lot of the non-binary community, the trans community, and it just made me want to hug my partner and hug everyone in the community and just protect everyone. I really want to do that, but this book made me really want to do that. I get emotional just thinking about it. My next tattoo is going to be in reference to this book. That's how good this book was. So description of it is everyone has a secret. Mags has teeth. Magdalena Herrera is about to graduate from high school, but she already feels like an adult with a serious responsibility, caring for her ailing grandmother, working a part-time job, clandestine makeout sessions with a girl who has a boyfriend. And then there's her secret, which pulls her into the basement each night, drains her of energy, and leaves her bleeding. A secret that could hurt and even kill if it ever got out, like it did once before. So Mags keeps her head down, isolated in a small desert community. That is until her childhood friend, Nessa, comes back to town, bringing vivid memories of the past, an intoxicating glimpse of the future, and a secret of her own. Mags won't get attached, of course. She's always been strong enough to survive without anyone's help. But when the darkness starts to close in on them both, Mags will have to drag her secret into the daylight and choose between risking everything or having nothing left to lose. It is so good. You will read it in one night. I promise you. You will not be able to stop thinking about it. Also, there is trans representation in this. Nessa is trans, and I did want to give a trigger warning for SA. It doesn't happen on the page, but it is alluded to. So there's that. There's a little bit of violence against a piece of shit, so you won't feel bad about it. You also get to see, unfortunately, the passing of a child in past tense. So, like I said, this book does have heavy topics, but a very kind spoiler. The gays, we are okay, and we do make it out. And there is a character in this book where there's this concept in this trope of like old gays or like the old queers, like where are we? Do we get to survive long enough to get old? Yeah. And in this book, there is someone who is always getting called. They're always trying to find him. He never answers. But in the end, we get to see what happened to him. So it's actually, it's okay. It's okay. It's bittersweet. So this is a beautiful book. I know it's really going to be one of my favorite books of 2025 and possibly of all time. So super, super good. The Deep Dark is amazing. She deserved her moment. My next one is a person. So for lovers of love and basketball, who wanted it gay, who wanted it Southern, who wanted it Black, who wanted a little bit of romance, a little bit of curvy representation. For anyone who loves a person who's perceived as a player but is actually not, but has moves for you, I have Down South Bayou by Erica Alexander. This book is absolutely divine. It's divine. Long story short, Cheyenne finds out her boyfriend is cheating on her. She leaves his apartment, is like, boy, bye. She's out. She bumps into like a 6'2" basketball player who's walking into their apartment. And they're like, hey, what's up? Cheyenne's like, I'm literally leaving my ex this very moment. I got to go. You fine though. Boom. Yeets out. Her best friend, or I think her cousin, they end up living together. And the cousin's like a chef. She's part of another book. And Cheyenne goes to help her with her new job at like pretty much women's basketball. And they get paid a lot more, which is great. And long story short, she ends up bumping into that same basketball player a few months later. And their romance blooms. And it's super cute. There's lots of spice. Friends with benefits. Feelings are caught like the balls in the air. And it's absolutely amazing. I am not a sporty girl, but this is actually super amazing. Also for lovers of love and sports ball, another amazing Black sapphic romance. This book will be for you. I'm hoping to interview this author very soon. Yeah, I'm here for the Blacks, I'm here for the gays, I'm here for everybody. So this is super, super good book. Also a lot of spice. So very, very fun. This is two of these books I am mentioning, I have gotten the chance to interview these authors and their episodes are on the podcast. So I hope you listen to them. But one book is Magic Paris Gargoyles, Tall, Dark, Sweet, and Handsome. Mysterious romance. And it's super short. So this is The Librarian's Gargoyle by Evelyn Shine. The way I would describe this book is if you've ever just wanted to escape like your childhood home and like fly over the city and just talk to someone. And then you always dreamed like at your job that you would meet a handsome person and they would come up to you and like sweep you away from all of this. This book is for you. Like that is the energy. So I got to interview this author. Evelyn was so kind and they dove into their inspiration for this book. And there may be another book on the way, so we will see. But let me tell you a little bit about this book. Magic is real, and Viola is going to prove it. Parisian librarian by day and parkourist by night, the last thing Viola wants is an arranged marriage. If she can fund the library, she might keep her job and her freedom. But strange otherworldly shades keep attacking her, threatening her safety. Worse than the monsters and the impending pressure of matrimony and mundane life, Viola can only vent to her confident Lady Gargoyle, a statue that has never spoken back. Mm-hmm. Um, uh, Boadicea is a creature without a soul, a fact as steady as her stone skin. Yet when the mage who created Boadicea gives her a task that requires her to appear human, she's feeling new, soft feelings for the librarian who likes to climb Paris in enchanted slippers. Viola could never love Boadicea in her true form, but the gargoyle finds herself pouring her heart into helping Viola keep the library open and discovering the magic that will pull Viola into a new world of freedom. And that is The Librarian's Gargoyle by Evelyn Shine. It is for any book lovers out there who have ever wanted to go to a magical library and also maybe get flitted on and teach a gargoyle how to kiss. This is for you. This is for you. It's so, so good. Also, the gargoyle element, when she transforms into a human being, honey eyes, dark skin, like walks into a room, button down shirt unbuttoned a little bit, like they're muscular, but they're soft for you.
Okay.
Ooh! And they have siblings. So you know some issues gonna happen. Their siblings are the other books. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it's my Christmas wish. But I'm here for it. And also, the person who created the love interest in this book is non-binary. So they themselves are having dreams of someone and they know their true love is out there, but they haven't met them yet.
Yeah.
The representation is divine. Okay. My last two book recommendations. Flamboyant by George M. Johnson. It was awesome interviewing this author. They are so cool. This book is incredibly short and I highly recommend the audiobook. The physical book is amazing too. The audiobook has jazz kind of going between the chapters and the author reads their own book and they have a beautiful voice. But this follows the queer Harlem Renaissance that they wish they'd known. It is historical. It has discussions of society and it is absolutely amazing. Read it right now. It is so, so good. Read anything they write.
It's
And
so
yeah,
I think I'm the one that recommended that one. And
you did. You're the one who recommended it to me.
the art is so beautiful. The stories itself.
Mm-hmm.
The majority of the people in that book I knew about. Um, from Langston Hughes to James Baldwin to Alan Locke, because actually Alan Locke is a fraternity brother of mine. But Josephine Baker and all of the things that was a part, all of the ones that were a part of the book. Um, and so yeah, so for those of you who are looking just to know more about queer history, queer literature, um, from the Harlem Renaissance, this is a great place and to start actually.
110%. It is absolutely beautiful. Um, I cannot wait to read what they write next. And I just felt like this book felt like a long conversation
Yeah.
with like your queer uncle or your best friend over coffee or like a professor who cared about you and wants to teach you more. Like this book felt like an education in the kindest way possible. And it was so, so good. And I'm so grateful you recommended it because I saw it on your page and thank you for the reminder. And anything you recommend, if I have the means, I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna buy it. I'm a simple woman. You are so brilliant and I will read anything you recommend.
Thank you.
110%. My last book, as you said, we saved the best for last. I love All My Babies, but this one it grabbed my neck, it threw me into the wind. It threw me. So this book is Serpentine Valentine by Gianna Darling. This is my special edition. These are my ladies. So this is for my Surfs Up lovers. That movie is amazing. But this book snatched my soul and I never got it back. Okay. So the back of this book, I'm just gonna give you a quote. Okay. They would all pay for what they had done to me, but none more than the good girl, Luna Palalis. This is a Sapphic Medusa retelling. It is set during modern day. Because it is a Medusa retelling, it does have dark themes such as sexual assault and trauma and murder and lots of revenge as well. This is a spicy book in reference to the sapphic and bisexual representation. And it's a very much, like I said, a revenge book. So long story short, the main character of this book, Lex, is essayed by a professor on her college campus, and she is going to be expelled for it. It's horrible. But long story short, she fights the university. She comes back a year later, and she has a plan to ruin the life and career of that professor, as well as the headmaster of the university. But the headmaster has a daughter, and she goes to the university, and Lex's plan is to make her fall in love with her and then break her heart. But joke's on you. They end up falling in love with each other, and Lex has a plan with their group of vigilante girls on campus called the Man Eater Crew to punish any people on campus who are predators. They do that at night, and then during the day, they also may do some things. So it's an amazing story about love, coming out, revenge, healing, transformation. It is a lot of things. And Gianna has a way of breaking your heart and then putting it back together. And we do have a time jump as well. So we get to see where the characters are at the end a few years later, which is very fucking important. And this book, I've never read a book about revenge written so well. So it's absolutely amazing. And I just love seeing queer stories and dark romance that are done with respect and compassion. And we always get our comeuppance, and I'm here for it. So those who need to get punished get punished. So you're here for it. But yes, that was
So,
my Rex. Those are your Rex. Thank you for
yes,
coming on the pod.
and before we close out, because for those that are probably going to look at this on YouTube,
Please.
y'all see trans history behind me. It's actually a graphic novel. I'm going to post a little bit about it on my page. In this case, on my page on June the 6th, because I'm on tour for this with Hear Our Voices. And so it's trans history from ancient times to the present days. Alex Cobbs and Andrew Eakett did a graphic novel on trans history. And so it's out. If you haven't checked it out and you know about it, go and check it out. I'm gonna probably read it tonight. Um, because it is a graphic novel, so it's probably not going to take me long to get through it. But I'm super excited. And I just wanted to, because I know it's obvious for those who are probably watching the video that there was a book behind me, and I would have felt remiss not mentioning this amazing piece of new queer literature that's out there, talking about our trans brothers and sisters, and really letting people know that they've always been here. Like this is not something that just propped up in the last decade.
I actually cannot wait to read that book. I saw it in the background and I was like, "Ayo, let me see it." I also wanted to just thank you so much for coming on the podcast and sharing your recommendations, sharing your time. This is an extra long episode, but I want to hold space and I want to be able to always just take our time. And I did rush at the end because I wanted everyone to get the recommendations, but I'm so grateful you came. I'm grateful whenever you're on the podcast, and I'm grateful you were on this earth. And just sharing all the books and putting in the work. I saw you start your bookish experience online, and now I'm seeing you flourish and get all the experiences, and I'm just rooting for you, and I'm so happy for you. So
I
yes,
appreciate it.
110%. We're rooting for you. I was all rooting for you. And I just am very happy for you. I'm grateful for everyone who listened. Please tell them where they can find you on social media, how they can support you, and I will of course link your Instagram. I'll put your Instagram title at the bottom as well, so they
Yeah.
can find you.
Yeah, so just connect with me. I'm only on Instagram. I'm now coming more out to the front of the camera. So TikTok may be in my future, but we'll see. But I'm at Black_Boys Reads on Instagram for the time being. And I'm always posting. I'm always, doing things. Also too, I do believe, so tagline for those that may not know, I do believe books are very much so political. So oftentimes I do take time to reflect on things that are current and near and dear to my heart. And so recently, if you're interested, I do have a Pride Month reflection on my page that I think it's important for us to read at this moment. If you want to go back as far as November 6th, the morning after the election, I do have a reflection there that talks a little bit about seeing and understanding Black women in the face of this moment. So yeah, so you log in, when you hit me up, you're gonna get a good book recommendation, but you're also going to sometimes fall into my brain of reflection and holding space for the time that we're currently sitting in.
Thank you so much. We do need to hold space, and I think that books can help us escape, but also through our community we can support each other. And I'm grateful for you supporting me in this podcast and for sharing your time and sharing your light with us. So thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for everyone who listened. Please like and subscribe on YouTube. Leave a nice comment. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. And please follow on Spotify as well. Follow Jay on Instagram. And yeah, just continue to support queer books, please. Add all these books to your TBR. And better yet, read them. A lot of these books you can find at your library. You find them on Kindle Unlimited. You can find them used. And I will always say that like where there is a will, there is a way. If you want to read it, you will. You will. And if you want to be educated, you'll read these books and learn about that and get out of your comfort zone. Maybe that's a good thing. But thank you everyone for listening, and I hope y'all have a wonderful day.